Gosh. Hey, what's up? This is Flex Wheeler with another episode of Flex for Life with my co-host Greg. What's up?
Hey.
Hey, so really quickly, our girl got a fight.
Oh, yeah, Neely. She's, it looks like it for September 6th, which is really short notice. And it's in Northern California. So I don't want to jinx it because I want the paperwork signed before we say anything more. Because how many times have we said, I think she's got a fight
All right.
over the past 5 years?
Inner workings. All right. Well, listen, today we're going to go over a couple of videos regarding back training. We're going to talk a little bit about peptides. And then we're going to start this new thing where we talk about movie of the week. And you guys will get what we're getting at when we get into that. So anyway, first, Greg, bring up the first video.
And these are all, we pulled some videos of some well-known people doing some back exercise and a couple of influencers that are not as well-known. Let's start with the current reigning Arnold Sports Classic, Mr. Classic Physique, I guess the best way to put it, Wesley Vissers from Holland, talking about his, I believe, his 2 favorite back exercises.
Your legs as wide as possible. The vertical pulling is very important, so from the top to the bottom. I'm doing this with one arm at a time, making sure the elbow stays as close as possible to the body, shifting the shoulder downwards as well to make sure that elbow really goes towards the hip for the maximum possible contraction, and then go all the way up for the full stretch. Then of course we're not sticking to unilateral movements, we're also sticking to a compound pull down, the narrow grip or V-bar pull down, but make sure here the stretch is the most important thing, which way I like a narrow grip to ensure you go up as high as possible, feel the stretch in the lats, as that will cause a lot of muscle growth and lat width. And then one of my favorites to finish off the lats, the cable pullover. I like to use a bar for this, with the hands close together to make sure you get a maximum stretch at the top, but also a very good contraction at the bottom. This is the only isolation movement for the lats you can do, which makes sure the biceps are out of the question, only the lats will be finished off for good. And this were 3 of my favorite movements to really build up those lats for the maximum possible lat width.
Impressive. I know. I've seen a few other people do it, but not really many people completely stretch. Why I call it disengaging, your lats and completely stretch, and that's absolutely great. I've always felt that way. The more movement you have in a movement, the more muscle fibers that you're connecting. So yeah, amazing, man. That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
He did win 2 Arnold Classics, right? So there's something to this.
That's impressive, man. I'm glad to hear that, brother. Wow. Yeah, you're on point with that, definitely. And a close grip. I mean, there's a video that's circulated a billion times with me and Chris training with Charles, and you can see me doing that, just completely overstretching. And I just felt like there's muscle tissue way up there. If I completely stretch, I'm engaging that muscle tissue from the very beginning instead of going halfway into that. So interesting, Wesley. Happy to see that, bro.
Yeah, I don't think we have to promote him any more than he already is. But if you watch his videos, I've watched quite a few. I've subscribed to his YouTube channel. He is very technically sound as far as he's constantly trying to learn and improve his knowledge in the industry. And obviously it shows, right? I mean, I think Bumstead was the same way. He constantly, what coaches can I pull from?
Yeah.
Who can I learn from?
Yeah.
I don't know the other guys because they're not really doing a whole lot of videos on this kind of stuff. But those 2, I mean, no offense to the Musclehead podcast guys, but they kind of consider themselves science evidence-based lifters because they're looking for as much information as possible. They can't say they're smaller or unsuccessful.
Yeah. But yeah, kudos to you, Wesley. I'm looking forward to meeting you one day now and shaking your hand, brother. That's impressive. I'm serious. When I seen that, I was like, oh no, yes he did.
On that final pose too, and did the front double. He looked wide.
Yeah, he got some wide lats. He's but his clavicles are pretty wide also. Yeah, and it's interesting that it's almost in my ignorance, not knowing that much about him or his training system, him going close grip to me is for him acknowledging I'm already wide. Let me create thickness with this whip. Where a lot of people just doing a lot of these wide movements, and I've always said, to go way out here, there's no muscle that's attaching that, so you're basically engaging your shoulder instead of going right just a little bit wider than what your lat is and starting. That's but people go like way out here. I don't really get that.
Well, I think the misconception is the wider your hands are, the wider you're going to make your back.
No, it's not true. It's not true, and it's so not true. So what do we got next?
Well, actually, speaking of Charles Glass,
the man himself.
not a whole lot of dialogue in here. If you read the comments, though, he single grips. Now pause slightly. You can see at the top, the shoulders are protracted, right? So the shoulder blades go out. You can see his shoulders go forward.
Yeah.
He's getting a full range of motion.
Yeah.
Full.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if this is what he did with you and Chris also, but you'll see towards the end when he starts fatigue, not the stretch part.
One thing that I think I learned from Charles is, obviously, he was an amazing trainer. I want to give a shout out to Charles. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be. But he would read you. He's staring right into your face. He's reading your energy level and all that. And I think that's so important to almost try to get inside your client's head of where they're at with energy, and then come on and help right when they absolutely need it. And then read them to let them know, no, you got one more, you got two more when they're about ready to quit. But, Charles is absolutely amazing. But yeah, he did that. He noticed and knew when we were about to start fatiguing, and only then did he apply just enough for us to still muscle and do it, but not where he's taking over and we're doing a movement on our own.
Right, but even that towards the end, I'll pull this back up. What I liked about this, and I'll fast forward again, as he was fatiguing, obviously, and he's still getting the full stretch, but he's getting more length than partial, right? So he's getting that full stretch, maybe not the full contraction, but he's still getting 3/4 reps in. I like that.
Yeah. Good video. I can't think of the young man that he's training, but he used to work for us in the office with me when I was with All American EFX. So
really?
Yeah.
I must have deleted it. I had his name somewhere. Apologies.
Yeah, definitely. My apologies, because I know him really well. I'm gonna blame it on my old age or something with my memory here. I get my kids' names kind of mixed up, and that's really bad, especially when they look at me like, "What? Who did you call me?"
Yes. In our defense, we've probably both been doing that for decades anyway.
Jeez.
But with the two single D grips, though, and again, that full, I've seen you do that in videos when you're training people multiple times because you want to get as much range of motion as possible. And that allows for even, maybe 1 inch more than if you got the standard close grips.
Sure. And, I don't mean to say anything negative about anybody who trains differently. It's just my philosophy. I know Brent doesn't do 100% full range, and neither did Berto Fox, and they both had just incredible amount of muscle mass. I guess back in my grandmother's days, she, it's more than one way to skin a cat. It's more than one way to get to your home. You can take a number of different streets, but as long as you get there, as long as you believe in the movement that you're doing. So.
But the bottom line for me is you have to get there. So if you're not getting there, that's wrong.
Yeah. That part. Yeah.
But I do have another Charles Glass video that he posted. This time he's I mean, we've all been to the gym, right? We want to, let's say, do bent over rows to the barbell, and all the barbells are taken. There's nothing else. So he kind of gave another option. And this looks like, I mean, that last one looked like it was at Gold's Venice. This one, next one, I believe, is also. So I don't know if he ever had you do this one.
Barbell bent over row where it goes straight up and down. We're going to use the leg press because it's going to pull through the lat. And we're just going to contract the back. I won't stand up and do it, but we'll stay bent over. Here we go. Set it up. Pull. Contract the back. And let it stretch. Now sitting back on the movement. Pull. Contract. Let it go.
Now, what machine is that?
That's that old hammer strength leg press.
Wow. Yeah, Charles is so doggone innovative, man. Yeah, just the stuff he come up with. He's 100% the man. No, we never did that actual movement before. But again, watch him in that video where he's completely contracting and all the way completely where he's disengaging, the lats, that full stretch, and then coming back. That's our old style of training.
Well, what I liked about it also, you're getting, I'll pull this back up. You're getting the movement, obviously, right? But at the same time, he's stabilizing through his lower back and rhomboids and everything else as well. So he's getting that full stretch, but basically every muscle in his posterior chain is getting work there.
Yeah.
And look at his form. I mean, you have to bring up the form, right? How many times have you seen people do these horribly?
Yeah. Back is straight. It isn't bent whatsoever.
Nope.
Yeah. Pushing his hip back to fully engage his lats and get a great stretch. Engage hits when he's coming in to get a great contraction.
So, yeah, go over your philosophy on this particular area, specifically for people who just want a great looking back, and how that evolved from what he did with you and what maybe Chad or some of the other guys that you worked with instilled in you. What's your mind frame like?
So well, I was just different then. Like I said, at the beginning of Charles starting to be our trainer, he was actually our training partner, but me and Rico and Chris were getting so strong, and he was getting older and he was starting to injure himself, and then it kind of transitioned to where he was just helping us spot the weights, and then towards the end he had input on, hey, try this movement, what do you think? So he never pushed anything on us. He's like, hey, what do you think about this movement? We try, like, yeah, that's great. No, I don't like it. Okay, well, let's try this one. But we just had a mind frame of like just getting down, man, just training. Wasn't when we were locked in our training, wasn't a lot of talking, it wasn't a lot of joking. Now, of course, when you guys see us on videos, for me, I never want my videos to be boring, so I would joke and laugh. But you ask Chris and Rico, I was boring. I mean, they almost hated training with me because I wouldn't talk, and I would walk away when it's their set because I want to stay locked into my brain, my set, and then I'll walk back up when it's my set. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I know there's a lot of guys who train hard now, but I just think it was kind of different, back in our time. But no, he just still in me a work ethic. For one, he took me on when I was just an amateur. And I've had great trainers and great martial arts instructors. And my thought was always, if they're going to invest their time in me, I'm going to have to give them 100%. That's the way I pay them back, is giving them 100%. And like with Ty being my trainer, I just put blinders on, and whatever he said do, I did. And that's how much trust I had him. And with Charles, I just put blinders on. Whatever he said do, I just did it, out of respect for him. And it worked. Like I said, we just was a great team. It was I think it was probably the beginning of him really getting into training a lot of bodybuilders, because before me, I would come in and Magic would be there and he would finish training him. And then it would be us or Wesley Snipes or, some of the stars or stuff like that. But Yeah, it was just a great time back then, man. It was just different.
So how would you approach someone who wanted to start training with you now? Let's say not a competitor, right? Not someone who wants to get on stage, but someone who, let's say mid-30s, so still in the younger phase of life and everything else. What's the startup process look like there, specifically for the back area?
Right. Well, first I'd have to have a conversation. I want to dive into their mental and see what they're really all about. Are they really there to train? Are they really there to change their body? Or are they just trying to exercise? Or, they're just trying to stay mobile or any of that? And then I would, based on what their physique looked like or what they were lacking or their strong parts, I would pick different exercise for them to do. I know some of my bread and butter is definitely close grip pull downs. Is going to be like number one, because regardless of whether you're white or not, just having inner back thickness is a tremendous asset. I don't do it that often anymore now because people just not capable. But number one exercise would normally be pull-ups. You just don't see people doing pull-ups anymore. So I kind of gotten away from that because it takes. I understand now because I'm older. It takes a different type of strength, to do pull-ups. I'm talking, 10, 20, and then like we do put the belt and chain around and have 45s and, 345s doing pull-ups. That's just, a different strength, but that's just such a width movement, and then from there, I would just pick certain moves that I felt that they were lacking on, and then based on their mentality of what they want would be how hard I would push them, or how I would let them get away with certain things, because okay, they're not really trying to do that, but my brain unfortunately always goes to extreme, and in being an athlete, it's like picking the most extreme movements for them to do, and then I have to tailor back down based on what they're there to do, because I want to stimulate them and make them want to come back in the gym the next day instead of just beating them up so bad and like, yeah, look what I did to you, and then they're really like turned off and disenchanted with training.
I think that's kind of the crux of two things. That's kind of the crux of the difference right now, because I mean, a vast majority of the people who follow you or fans of yours are in a different mindset. And unfortunately, when you're young and you're in that mindset, you think everybody should be in that mindset, where the majority, I would probably say 98, 99% of people out there, we just need to get them active again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We live in an age now where TV is massive. People are sitting on TV. I mean, I do it when I come home from training. Video games are absolutely massive. So it keeps you in a room, not doing anything. I'm sure you came up in that same age where my mother would literally kick us out the house. Get out the house.
They had to put commercials on TV saying, "Where are your children at? Do you know where your children at?"
Yes. She would be like, "Get out the house, go out and play, and be back before the street lights come on."
Yep.
And then before the TV would go off, it would be that voice that would come on, and it would be like, "Do you know where your kids are?" Isn't that amazing compared to now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went to school with no water bottle and no cell phone. We all came out and no riding bikes with no helmets on, and no one died.
Yeah.
Which means someone stupid 10, 20 years ago really got a bike and messed up for all of us.
Yeah. It was different times, man. But so we were active kids.
Yeah.
We all had PE. We had to dress out during our PE. We had to run. We had to play games. We had to play sports in PE. And normally your PE teacher was your coach in football or something else. So if they seen you active, automatically, hey, you're coming out for the team. You had so much respect for adults back then. You didn't argue and say no. You just did it. Take the paper home, have your parents sign it, and next thing, whatever it is, you're running track or you're playing football.
And they had to remind us to take a shower after PE too.
Oh, if you didn't dress out, if you didn't dress out, you got marked no dress.
Yep.
And if you didn't shower, you got marked down. And not to mention that, every kid in your PE class would look at you like, what? Dude, you stink. it was like embarrassing not to take a shower. You would be like talked about, but also you got marked down for not taking a shower. I get it now where times are different, but I think they allowed those things to start happening slowly, you know, or else
Yeah.
they allowed these things to start happening slowly to now they're very powerful. I mean, I remember my daughter was like, "No, we don't take showers." You know, she was like, and the gyms didn't even have the gyms now don't even have showers.
A lot of them. Yeah.
They're not. They're built to not even have showers, man. But yeah,
Well, I will say, as a former, especially MMA Academy owner, in hindsight, I don't know if I would have put showers in or I would have put a water cutoff switch after the last class, before the last class.
oh, they're just standing there for hours.
Yeah.
Shower on.
So I remember that, a class that would go from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m. And then there'd be a line for the shower after. I'm like, don't you have a home? It's not like you're going straight to work or something. If you had a choice between taking a shower at home or at your local gym, I would take a shower at home over
At home.
9 times out of 8.
Yeah, at home. Gold's Gym had showers, and sometimes I had to be at a meeting or go to a commercial or whatever, and man.
And you lived an hour away. You lived an hour away from Gold's Gym at that time too.
Well, no, at the very beginning, I lived right down the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had that 7-story house right there on Main Street where the old Gold's Gym was. And I remember a few times just going up there to take a shower. And this is where I guess I started noticing times were changing where there were kind of unusual people hanging around the shower.
Oh,
you know? I think, some people call them weirdos or stuff like that. And I'd walk in the shower and just see like these unusual people, like, why are you here? And I would literally just turn around and just walk out like, man, I'm good.
I'll go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing that so far is pretty consistent between you, Wesley, and Charles, you guys all love that close grip pull down.
Yeah, man. It's so wide grip, there's less muscle fibers that you're going to engage, right? Because it's on an outer layer of your back. Close grip works, I would say, probably over 90% of your back, and especially if you know how to contract, because you can do close grip and you can pull just from the width of the back. You can do close grip and just pull from the center of the back, or you can do close grip and pull from the bottom of your lats, just based on you knowing how to angle yourself. And that's over 90% of your back, so it's just a bread and butter. And I know a lot of guys are wide now, but ain't nothing like a guy doing a double bicep and having just freaking peaks and valleys and arches in the middle of their back is beyond impressive. I think it's even more impressive than a person doing a double bicep and having a super wide back. If there's no like intermuscular and all of these crevices and cracks and stuff going on, with thickness, it's just way more impressive.
Did you ever do any supersets back in your day, or did Charles ever have you do that?
Yeah, we did supersets. We did drop sets. Yeah, we did all that. It's just, like I said, it was more than one way of skinning the cat, and we got down with all of it.
Give us an idea of what, let's say, one of your supersets that you did back in the day that you liked.
Close grip pull down. So using a wider grip bar, doing reverse close grip pull down, and then doing wide grip. Not to where, so like you have the bar that's just straight across and then it comes down. So that's the farthest I would go, is where it comes down, where it bends. I would never grab it at the end. So doing one of those, or back when I could, one of my favorite movements I absolutely just loved was low cable rolls. My God, dude, it's just an amazing feeling, just feeling all those different muscles just working and pulling and stuff like that. So doing that and then standing up and doing pull downs.
Well, I just found a photo of Wesley giving a very relaxed back pose or back picture post-workout. Jesus Christ. This is classic.
Yeah, so I can understand why he does a lot more close grip stuff, because look at his lats. My gosh, that's absolutely insane.
That's classic.
That don't even look real. Wow. Let me see that again. Jeez.
And you can tell he's nowhere near contest shape here.
And look at his inner back. Look at his lower inner back.
I was saying, look, just the Christmas tree down there is thick. You could probably fill some water up in there if he was laying on his stomach.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive, man. Wow. I'm a fan now. I didn't know that much about you. I just know you won a couple of shows, but
let's see what he does this year in a month, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So speaking of supersets, we have another very well-known person in the fitness industry that's talking about a superset that she likes.
Superset for lat width and back density. First part of the set is a side-seated cross-body lat pull down. You're doing 8 reps per side. Then you're going to flip around, add a little bit of weight, and you're doing a close neutral grip front pull down. 8 to 10 there as well.
I know a lot of people do that single with a
sideways.
Either they're sitting in the pull down chair and they're just doing one arm, or they turn it to the side. I know a lot of people do that now. That's interesting.
I mean, it's almost like the exact same movement, but it obviously worked for her.
Yeah, definitely.
But what was another very familiar looking exercise that was in her superset? That close grip pull down.
Close grip.
But at the same time, what was another? And you and I are huge on the whole eccentric stretch, getting that stretch at the end of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see she was reaching on those, and she was getting a nice lengthening of everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be taller, so stretch me out.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why. I'm thinking that's the reason why people do that, because it allows them to freely pull and completely disengage that lat, where maybe they don't have the ability to do that when it's using both arms. But I would literally like lean forward and just completely stretch out. My shoulders would down there like crush my face and doing that. But yeah, just all in, all out, man.
That's, I mean, you could see the stretch happening as I turned the volume down so we could speak, but you can see the stretch, especially on this one. That's really getting a good stretch in there. Whether you like the movement or not, I mean, that, and then you can't really see it as much from this one because she's in the front, but you can tell she's reaching.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe need a little bit more. So a couple questions from me. I think we're both like, it seemed very similar, but first off, is she still natty? Just joking. Sorry.
Wow.
What?
Wow. That one went over my head. Anyway, so what were you going to say?
What do you think about that? Because when I think technically, a superset would be 2 opposing muscle groups or 2, not the both. So that's more of a giant set. But I would almost want to go, just for me thinking logically, I'd want to go to 2 different type of movements. So I'd go with that, maybe that double or the close grip pull down, and then maybe go find that leg press that Charles was on and do that bent over row.
Yeah.
So now you have a vertical pull, and then you have a horizontal pull where you're actually engaging your back as stabilizers also, just kind of mix it up. But that's just me. So your thoughts?
I can understand why she's doing those 2 movements, because it's given her a different freedom of range.
Sure.
And just based on that, it's actually a different exercise, even though they're close. I mean, you can almost argue any movement is going to work the back, period. So it's your choice. And again, it's not so much the movement, it's the ability to engage certain muscles. I mean, I've always said, mind muscle connection. And I even still now, I have amazing ability to control what muscles I want to pull on. If I want to pull on my upper, I just engage or raise my shoulders up, and I'm pulling from like my neck, my trapezius, and then just through my shoulders. If I want to pull just my inner back, I close my arms a little bit and I arch a little bit, and I just pull from my elbows back. And if I want to do my lower lats, you know, I do the same movement, but I'm now pulling downward. It's almost like, so it's a machine that's only allowing you to go this way, but I'm forcing myself to pull down. So it's almost like that movement that, what's his name earlier? Wes was doing at the end. So it's almost like that movement, but it's with a strict bar, and you can't force it. So that's how I engage my lower back, and then I completely arch up more and bring my chest up more. So I think if people, and it's hard, your back, you either have that ability or you don't. Biceps you can see, chest you can see, abs you can see, legs you can see, but what you can't see is more difficult in training. So yeah, it's just having that ability, that natural ability to be able to do that.
Well, I will throw in there, the ability to pose properly also factors in massively on those things. I mean, what?
No, I agree 100%.
Because if you don't, I mean, you could have all the muscle in the world. If you don't know how to pose properly, you're gonna have trouble up on stage.
And I think, you know, if I may voice my opinion, I think that's
It's your show.
The worst decision that they made is taking away the posing round where they did points for it, because now guys don't have to be creative at all. They can just walk back and forth from the stage. They don't have to, they don't have to be creative. You know, I mean, I know I came from an era where, I mean, everyone, I mean, from the freaking 80s to the 70s, everyone had dramatic music, and they posed at different points at our music. And I remember thinking, when I pose, I'm like, I want to like tell a story, and I want you to like be quiet and pay attention to, you know, almost like a ballet. When a ballet is up there on stage, nobody says nothing. They're just like watching, you know, engaged. And that was like my mind frame. So yeah, and even, you know, like I said, I knew I wasn't wide, but I just wanted to just create so much going on my inner back. I gave that illusion of that width. And that's me as an amateur. That's me in 1992 at the USA. That's being an amateur.
Wow. And you're light heavy at that point?
I was a heavyweight then. Yeah.
You're heavy? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you weigh? Do you remember?
I weighed in, so the weigh-in was the day before. I was 223 when I weighed in. But I know I probably walked on stage around probably like 219 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Bring back memories. How time flies. Wow. Look at that inner thickness, man. You know. Yeah. He said, yep. And that's an amateur, man. That's an amateur.
Oh, where'd the cursor go? So any final thoughts on back day knowledge? Don't neglect.
The movements don't really matter unless you can learn to engage the muscles. You know, it's kind of like chess. A lot of people can build a big chest because their shoulders and triceps are doing a movement. You have to learn how to engage that muscle, and it's really harder when you can't see it. So I would just say, you know, just be creative and try a number of different movements and see what you can engage your back with. And people who couldn't like engage their back well, I would just tell them, hey, listen, you know, just immediately before you even start, contract your traps. You know, just pull back on their traps, because they can do that. And then from there, if they pulling back on their traps and they start pulling down, it automatically engages the rest of their back coming through that. But then it's the ability of them being able to keep that contraction going for 10 reps or 20 reps, because they lose it because the muscle is so weak. And being able to, like, you know, just re-engage or slow down or stop. Because if you're not engaging the movement, you're just you're just mentally masturbating if you're not engaged in the movement. You're just going through the movements and nothing's happening there. You know, excuse me for.
That's right. You're taking my gimmick for a couple hours.
Huh?
You take my gimmick for a couple of segments there.
Yeah.
Be the mean one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it for back.
Well, I mean, for me on a personal level, we only put Dana in there. Oh wait, no, we have one more video. I'm sorry. This guy, this is not as well known an influencer. He's kind of on an up and coming thing, but he gave his favorite 2 exercises.
Trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center, hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, is no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got the most vision. Trendsetter told them before, but they don't listen. Better, bring a better bad because I'm bigger, better. Solo, single, selling several shows at every single second. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Kinda came and crushed the competition, hope they get the message. Look, living it fast, spinning my M in the bag. I never go slow, thinking I'll crash. End up a thing in the past, they know I won't though. Big fish catching me, they gon' need a bigger boat. Ironic how the world stops when I spin a globe. Always showing up. Last year's song still holding up. See the name now and they know what's up. Price hit the top and it's going up. I'm a trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center.
B.O.D. Get the spell check, a fact check, and prevent errors going up.
Oh, first off,
Crazy. Those were 2 movements that we always did back in our days. Always did. Standing bent over rows and one-arm dumbbell rows. It was just like a must, man. It was like a must.
Now he considers himself more of a what they call a power builder. So it's kind of a combination of powerlifting and bodybuilding. So get strong and look good.
Yeah.
So that's why he's big on heavy. And I also like the way he used the pendulum rows in the middle part where it's go to a full dead stop and you're going all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
I think he's actually done some videos where he stood on a platform to elevate it also to get even more range.
More stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's the motif for today, boys and girls? And you can tell from his shirt he's got a thick back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he was moving some weight there, but yeah, that just brought back memories. Those are 2 bread and butter movements that we absolutely always did. And then when a T-bar row came in, we switched over to that and started using that. But yeah, definitely.
Did you automatically in your head say, all right, get out of the way, let me get mine in now?
Oh man, yeah, it's like no breathing hard. Just get out the way. You can recover. Move, man. It's my turn. That's just the way we were. We're like chomping at the bit to get to at our set.
That was a great song choice too, by the way, Jed. Good work on that video.
Yeah, it was.
All right, so what's the bottom line? Get out and do your back. That's me tomorrow. Back
day, man. Can't miss back day. And I don't really agree, but there's a coin. Hey, shows are 1 from the back. I don't believe that. What about the rest of the body? But you have to have an impressive. You have to have an impressive back, whether it's super wide or just super freaking thick and a lot of detail.
Let's jump back on that one. Now it's changed a little bit. Let's time warp maybe 7 years. So let's take the classic physique division again, which Wesley is a part of. He back in 2019. Let's say for my height, you could not come into the weigh-ins over 170 pounds at 5'5" and over 5'5", right? So there's some limitations that you have to work with there. So bear with me here. I'm going to pull up a back double that they put on my last show. Now I hit the weight limit exactly. I could not be an ounce over what I weighed right there. What is your recommendations? Take me out of the equation. Someone who has to deal with weight limits. They can't, it's not like the open division where they can just get as big as possible, become Derek Lunsford.
Right. Did they weigh you? How many hours or days did they weigh you guys in?
Literally the night before prejudging because I was having trouble making weight. So I was one of the last people in.
Okay.
So I
Well,
think I got weighed in right when they shut things down. So it was almost 9 p.m. and then prejudging started at 8 the next morning.
I would say, you know, decarb and de-eating to go and weigh in, knowing that that's going to cause you to flatten out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you eat, it should fill you back out. You should come on stage a little bit heavier, thicker, and more separated, because now the muscles are pushing against the skin, creating more definition. So that's one way of doing it. It's just cutting back on your meals, and then, you know, once you and the other thing is weigh in as early as freaking possible. I mean, try to be at the front of the freaking line.
Yeah.
You know, don't be last, because that's just cutting hours out from where you could be eating in.
Well, luckily at the national shows, you can weigh in the day before. Pretty much they have someone working that all day long.
Yeah.
Now, I remember back to the days when the weigh-ins were the morning of. Those were horrible days, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think that would work now with categories having over 50 and 60 and 100 people. That no way that work.
I mean, back in your day, they had, the regional shows had 100 people in one class, right? I mean,
it was the day before, though. Yeah, we weighed in the day before, though. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was the day
when
before.
They changed that. Okay.
Yeah, it was the day before.
All right. So bottom line, go out and train your back, regardless of nothing looks better from a guy's point of view. Women wearing a strapless dress or in a bikini and having a good back, that's some good stuff right there.
Agreed.
I think women would agree a good back on a guy is probably a great thing too.
I would think so. Something to hold on to. I didn't mean that way, bro. I mean just like hugging them, you know.
I know there's multiple.
I'm not sure where your brain, you know, goes. I know you're all over the place. I'm just
you know me.
Just trying to will you back in a little bit there.
Or I thought you meant like when you pick them up to throw them out of the house. Okay. All right, so we are going to get into a quick thing in peptides, because I want to do the fun thing a little bit later, but this is more quick. This is, how many people do you know that have had their social media pages shut down not because they're talking about peptides, they're literally selling peptides with discount codes, right?
Yeah.
To people for use. So, I mean, at least a handful that you
I know 3. Yeah.
And what were their followings like when they got shut down? I mean, were they upset?
Oh, they were upset. Yeah, big time. Yeah, they were big time upset. No more than like 300,000.
Okay, but still, I mean, they worked to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here's one a guy put up the other day.
And Facebook have been shut down because talking about peptides. You know what's crazy is I can sit here and talk about fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, the most dangerous drug out of all of them, sugar, Milky Ways, Coca-Cola, Skittles. I can talk about that all day long here on social media, but the moment that we start talking about peptides, something that's going to cure and heal you, no bueno. The FDA doesn't like that. I say it all the time. A healthy America is not good for business, so they don't like peptides. Guys, if you have any questions, get over to the website, MiamiBiotides.com. 15% off on the website today, Tide 15. And if you have any questions, I'm very limited to what I can and can't say on TikTok. So just DM me.
It's so easy to be a bullshit artist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You could talk. We could literally. Now there might be some community guidelines around some narcotics and talking about them, but we could literally say this. You know, you could talk about fentanyl all day long as far as what it's done to the country, its legalities, what it's supposed to be used for, how it can be prescribed by a doctor for certain people, right? I mean, have you ever been put on fentanyl for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man. I used to have pills here. Yeah.
That is different than talking about it, what it does, and then putting a discount code in the bio, wearing a hat with your branding on it, and having a website you're shelling people to.
Yeah, I think it's the thing that you're actually trying to sell something, and you're using a code. I think that's where they're shutting down people, because they're not making any money off of that, and you're using them to make money off of that. So I think that's where the big problem lies.
I didn't think about I didn't think about the social media side, about how it doesn't work for them either, or it's not.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work for Instagram. It doesn't work for Facebook or especially TikTok, they're really strict on what you can say and what you can't say. But
we've had some of ours flagged.
Yeah.
They flagged one of your videos when you're talking in the car about, hey, what are you working out today? I was like, why would you flag this?
Is that right?
Yeah, I had to go. I mean, I literally on a daily basis, I'm probably doing a, what is it, formal review of it. And it's every single one has been reversed. Because we're not talking about any illegal substances or selling them with discount codes that are for research only. Because we make it very well known that ours are prescription based, and it's only the ones that are on a certain category list that have been made legal for that. And
right.
I think they're putting us in unfortunately, every so often, one of our videos ends up in the broad category and it just gets automatically flagged by AI.
Yeah, but I don't think just talking about something will get flagged. I mean, I won't say his name because he passed away out of respect, but that's all he did was talk about his cycles. You have, what do they call it? The something twins?
Oh, the Trend Twins.
They talk about their cycles.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about selling anything, and they're not putting a code on it. I think that's where the problem lies, is that they know that you're putting a code on it and you're actually trying to sell something, and they're flagging that because they don't get a percentage of that. And you're using their platform to get your business out there.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. And I met with the Institute for Safe Medical Practices, had a phone call with them, and they work on these kind of things. They said there's a twofold issue. First off, they're not against peptides per se, but they're against using research chemicals that are going through a different process for compounding for human use, and saying, these are research only chemicals, but I want to sell it to you so you can lose some weight. And on top of that, that creates an FTC issue, they said, for the person and for Facebook and the social media companies, because now we're mislabeling and misrepresenting medical products that are not meant for humans, and we're selling it to humans. That's a Federal Trade Commission issue. So there's been a couple of companies that not only got shut down, they had the IRS, the FTC, and the FDA going after them at that point.
Yeah, well, some guy, big peptide guy, just got prosecuted, right? And sent to prison.
I should have ingrained his name. I know you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 30 months or something like that, right?
I didn't follow it. I didn't watch the whole video or follow what happened to him. I don't know the name of his company. I don't know if he was doing something fictitious or not, but I just remember seeing and hearing about it and seeing a video of him walking into court, and they're saying, peptide guy, gets put in prison.
Matthew Kawa, 70 months.
Why? What did he do wrong?
Inappropriate sale of peptides, SARMs, and other substances, deceptive marketing. So he got caught by he's actually got another trial pending through the FTC. Unadulterated products, which means products not designed for human use, that he was selling to humans for use. I guess there's a co-defendant. His accomplice, which was his sister, she got 16 months. So these are, I'm going to go sit in the county jail for a year. You're going to the state pen, people.
Wow.
$5 million penalty on top of it all. And he was doing what Einstein here was talking about.
He said Einstein.
Well, I hate to. Yeah.
No, it's like the other video we put up where the guy was talking about putting out a BS video and it just going viral versus real content. I was like, man, that is just so true. It's absolutely so true. It's crazy. People want more flash and what's the next hottest thing instead of, just
hottest, easiest.
Basically down to earth. You got to work. You got to be consistent, man. You got to do it every day. There's no shortcut. There's no, there's no answer in a bottle or a pill. And even that, you still got to be consistent and put that work in. And there's no getting around with that. You got to put that work in daily. You got to eat that food daily. There's no getting around that. I know they got some shots and Ozempic and stuff like that comes into play now, but we didn't have that back then. We just got down. We just worked hard.
Yeah, but people were looking for those quick, easy pills, though, even back then, right? I mean, that's the problem. I think that's where we run into with our company also, is that aside from hormone therapy, because that's something you can't fix with health, with lifestyle or exercise when you get to our age.
Yeah.
But seems like too many people are ready to jump into, like in your case, you did everything before. You're on hormone therapy already. So you wanted to take that next step for the peptide side of things. And again, there's some medical issues there, but it seems like people, even
I can't take it. I just want to come out and say it. I can't take nothing. There's absolutely, I got freaking flagged for every peptide out there. Like, nope, nope, nope. I'm like, what about nope, nope, nope. Hard stop, hard stop.
I think the one they probably would have prescribed to you don't need, which is one of the GLP-1s.
No.
But yeah, but it seems like too many people don't want to put in do the basic part first.
Right.
It's like all these 17-year-olds jumping on gear right now. That's just scary to me. It's like the quick answer. You can make any 17-year-olds who has decent genetics.
Dude, your hormones should be raging.
Oh, that's the other part. Yeah.
You know,
you're not deficient at that point.
You should be. It's really interesting because like at Coat Fitness, it's probably the only gym that I paid attention. There's such a wide variety of age group in there. There's guys who are in actual high school training there. And then I think the oldest person in there she was like 80 something years old, but they're all in there actually training. And, you know, for me, you know, as a young kid, it's great that you're creating that baseline, right? You're creating that work ethic of working out and everything. But, you know, they come in tank tops and half shirts. And I'm like, of course, man, you're supposed to look like that. You know, you're young. You know, get out of here. And they're all strong and everything. I'm like, of course you are, man. You're the prime of your life right now.
Yeah. You remember those days?
Oh, God, dude.
Trend twins, by the way, are 25 years old currently. And they got, at least 5-6 years worth of usage at this point?
Yeah. You know, youth, it's something you can't pay for. You can't get it back, man. You know. So
next one, kind of going off of that, where are they getting these things from? They're selling to you, but just basically this, I think, is meant as a little bit of a joke, but at the same time, it's very scary to think this is probably how things are happening.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad. You keep digging.
That's probably where your peptides are coming from. A kitchen table where somebody is having their family put labels on vials.
Yeah, you know, it's something that hasn't been happening long enough for people to start understanding what illness that they're having. You know, it hasn't been going on long enough. But I think as time goes on and people start noticing different health problems they may have, or even site injection infections and stuff like that, or just not getting any response whatsoever, taking all these things, you know, I think it's just too new for people to be aware of what the negative side of that is. Right now, it's just all about hype, you know, but data hasn't came out enough, or haven't been listened to enough. Like the videos we talk about, like, man, be careful about, you know, what you're putting in your body. That's just not out in their face right now. Right now, it's a fad. It's a cheat code. They can get it without having to go through any pharmacy or talk to anybody. So right now, I think it's just at that peak level, but give it more time, and I think it's going to start the negative stuff soon, start kind of rising to the top more.
Well, I know the institute that I talked about, they're already gathering data. They want to get about 20 to 30 years worth of it, of people utilizing research chemicals and health issues that arise later versus people who used, you know, 503A pharmacy grade stuff, and juxtapose those two groups. But that's going to take like they said, that'll take literal decades of keeping information.
Yeah.
But interesting to see how that turns out.
The body is an absolutely amazing, you know, organism. It will fight. It will do everything it can to be healthy, to heal itself. Is absolutely, and it can endure a lot. It can endure a lot. You know, you've had so many people who just walked around and looked like a bill of health, and end up having, you know, deadly consequences. And you know, on the other side, you have people who look like they're about to fall over and die. You know, they look so unhealthy and they live a long time. You know, it's the body's an absolutely amazing machine.
Look at our politicians.
So anyway, what was the next thing?
Name anybody?
It's obvious. It's so obvious. All of them, actually. Actually, no. There's
a few that are the younger ones.
Yeah. It's a few of the younger ones that still look like they're in great shape. You know, but again,
give it time at this point because they took a job that's going to age them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can imagine.
So, ready for some fun stuff? This is This movie of the week is unfortunately this is my choice because I dropped this on Flex today, literally.
But it's
next week he'll be giving us one of his recommendations. And it can't be John Wick. Everybody's seen John Wick.
Well, everybody's seen this Jackie Chan movie also.
I don't know. I haven't met. You're the only other person I've met that's seen it.
Dude, come on, Jackie Chan. Everybody knows about him, especially that amazing fight scene he did with
the jet.
Yeah. Freak, come on, who doesn't know about Jackie?
Oh no, I think more people have seen that movie than this one. I think this is one of the ones that flew under the radar for some reason. But let's look at the trailer. And now it's not going to play. All right, got to reload it. Let's keep talking.
Like cell phones when you really need to make emergency calls when you don't have a signal.
Yeah. And I know this was going to happen.
But no, I mean, you're right. Maybe, I don't know. I think most Jackie Chan fans have seen all of his movies.
The fans, yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah. But, and I think Rush Hour really put him over the top with just, crossing over into just pure acting and not as much martial arts. But I even remember the beginning of his movies where, it was all choreographed, just fighting forever, with the long hair and,
Well, I mean, do people remember that he was actually in Enter the Dragon?
Yeah. I didn't know that. Wait a minute. What?
Oh, yeah, he was one of the guards when Bruce was infiltrating the underground area.
Yeah.
He killed him real quick. I think here we go.
Everyone's already inside. Bye, Dad.
An explosion rocked the city today.
£20,000 for the names of the bombers. That's not how we do things here.
Hello? Mr. Hennessy, he's here again.
That's 5 days in a row now.
What does he want?
His daughter was killed in the bombing.
Mr. Hennessy, please find out the names of the bombers.
I work for the government, not terrorists.
You used to work for them.
I don't know who the bombers are.
I don't believe in you.
It's him.
You would tell me the names of the bombers.
They kill me on Tuesday.
He's trained.
Bury me on Wednesday.
Maybe special forces.
Mourn for me Thursday.
Stop! She's wired the balloon!
Then you gotta let me go.
He just wants you to know he can get to you.
What is going on?
He thinks I know who blew up his daughter.
Do you?
Then you gotta let me go.
Somebody say a prayer for me.
If they kill me on Friday.
Of half the city looking for him.
Bury me on Sunday. Mourn for me Monday. Then you gotta let me go. Then you gotta let me go.
He's an old man running circles around the lot of us. He's ahead of us every step of the way.
Open it up.
Even if they crucify me.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Where those prophets that touch the leg won't they touch the soul? Somebody say a prayer for me.
Yes, I do. Do you?
Man, I'm gonna have to go watch that movie again after I work out today.
Oh, no, I bought that on iTunes because I loved it so much.
Wow. Yeah.
And partially because he shows you that he's not just an action star; he is an actor.
Yeah. he has range. I mean, I think, yeah, he went more into depth with just because of the role of him losing his daughter and everything. But I think Rush Hour, he showed his depth also, that he's a comedian. He's beyond funny. Even, I remember like an interview, he said, he didn't want to be like Bruce Lee, so he would like, instead of like being serious, he would laugh or make a funny face or something like that. But yeah, he's always had range. If you watched him from the beginning, you can see how he grew as an actor. And then, when acting was really required of him, he was able to do that and fulfill those roles.
You can't deny his overall talent as an entertainer. And going back, look what I found here.
Is that right?
Remember that guy? And then he pulled him aside. He had like a neck lock and his arm in a hammer lock, and he just basically, then it panned up to his face. He just tore him in half. That scene. That was him.
Wow. I did not know that. I'll be damned. Look at Bruce. Dude, he was in shape. He was in shape. Yeah.
Enter the Dragon years. Yeah.
Gosh, look at that, man.
And none of people give Bruce, I think they see him as an action star and as a martial artist. I don't think they give him his philosophical props as far as putting the systems together and his thought processes on fighting. That was literally decades ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time. Yeah, ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time in so many ways. And even breaking the barriers he did. He never stopped being a man from his country and putting it first and wanting to just, elevate his countrymen and everything. Yeah, he was.
His last one was Return of the Dragon?
I think so, that he wasn't able to finish.
Yeah. But that one was what year was that? 1972 was released. So I
was say 72.
It was filmed probably even a couple years prior to that, because he didn't finish it. He started filming Enter the Dragon. Yeah. But I don't know if you guys remember, he finished at the final fight, the final boss. He finished off Chuck Norris with the guillotine in the 1960s.
I remember Enter the Dragon when he was fighting a guy with the big knuckle gloves.
That was Sammo Hung, right?
Was it?
Yeah. That was a young Sammo Hung.
Wow. But he finished him off with an armbar.
Yeah. And he tapped. He tapped out in 1970.
Just stuff you didn't see
in
movies back then at all. Yeah. Yeah, amazing, man. Absolutely.
No, but that was, I think, you want to go see it again. That was a good movie. If you want the action, you get all the Jackie Chan stuff too.
Yeah.
Right. But you get to see, there are parts where there are a couple of scenes in there. If you don't get a tear in your eye from his acting, then you have no soul. I have to break.
Yeah. Just the beginning because if you have kids, you're aware that as they get older, they just want to hurry up and get there. Okay, that's it. That's far. And they just take off running. And as a parent, you're like, wait. Let me make sure there's nobody around and all that. Just his look of getting out, just like, hey, I just want to be concerned of where my daughter's running to and who's her friends, and let me have a good look at who her friends are and a bomb going off. If that doesn't grab you as a parent, because a lot of the movies now that when a child's involved, I can immediately put myself in that position. Like, man, what would I do? How would I respond, to that situation? The one movie, John Q. The beginning of the movie started off with a car accident.
Yeah.
And that grabbed me because of my car accident. And then his son playing baseball and falling and having that heart problem. I was like, as a parent, what won't you do to save your child?
Yeah.
He demonstrated all that, man, locked down the freaking hospital. You're going to do the surgery. You're going to take my life for his life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just one last photo from that film that I think just hits home, like his ability, not even saying a word here. This is Jackie Chan after his, when he went into I mean, this isn't really giving away the plot. Basically, IRA sets a bomb off in a store that she just happened to be going towards, and he witnessed it, basically.
Yeah, it just sobers me because that stuff is going on right now.
Yeah.
Bombs are going off, kids are dying, parents are dying. People are losing their livelihood. I was talking to my dad yesterday, and my dad's 85. Still coaches football. And it was the first time that he mentioned, like, I'm getting tired. And I was like, whoa, what? He goes, I'm getting tired. I'm like, Dad, you have to keep going on. You have to keep fighting. We don't care. We don't care how old you are. We don't care if you can't go out and play football. We just want you here. And, I tried, I'm like, when you have those thoughts, I have thoughts like that. I've had thoughts like, man, I'm just tired, I go, what I do now is I think of people worse off to me. I was like, Dad, just think about like the war going on. You're a parent. Just imagine, or what's going on in Africa with all these Christians being murdered. And you can see videos of just hundreds of them just running down these dirt roads. Man, they ain't got no water. All they got is the clothes on their back, no food, no toilet paper. How does that work? So when I think about stuff like that, families holding their dead kids. It was just a video of the earthquake that just happened.
Colombia.
In Colombia. And it was a video of this guy holding up kids that are dead. And I'm like, that snaps me back to like, dude, whatever it is I'm going through, it ain't that bad. It's not that bad at all. And it helps me align whatever I'm going through, get through it, because you're not having to go what those people are going through. That's freaking bad. What you're going through is not bad. That's bad. So, yeah.
I think for me, it gives perspective also about how many things that we make into issues that are just not even worth the time or place of anything, when you have literally people around the world, people dying for stupidness.
Yeah.
Literally, it's oil, right? Or claims to land or whatever.
Yeah, just the earthquakes that are going on right now.
Yeah, that too. I mean, stuff that we can't even control at all.
Yeah, the volcanoes, all the volcanoes that got active lately, all the fires, people just losing their entire. I'm like, everything, man. Your clothes, everything gone. The place where you live gone. How does that work, man? What does that look like? I mean, where do you go? How do you survive? How do you start over? Your kids are hungry. They don't have no clothes. How do you look at them and you can't provide anything? It's
through no fault of your own.
No, just the act of God, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. So those things help me. And a lot of people like, man, how do you get through it? Or, just seeing you in the gym just inspires me. And here I am thinking like, my God, I'm in pain. I shouldn't even be here. I look horrible. But when I think about those things, when I drive down the street here in Vegas and it's 115 and I'm in an air-conditioned car and I'm seeing a freaking amputee going across the street in their wheelchair, and I'm like, dude, freaking cut it out. Freaking grow the crap up. You're not dealing with crap. That's bad. I mean, you're talking about people who have no support system. I have fans, I have friends, I have health insurance, I have a home, I have food, I have ability to pay my bills, I have a car, I have an amazing wife, I have amazing kids, I have an absolutely amazing support system. You're talking about people don't have nothing. Mm-hmm. And they're still getting out there making it. They're still out there living, so for you out there, people who are out there thinking about the little petty things that you're going through, I advise you just to kind of just open your horizon and think and look and see what's going on with other people. And if that don't freaking cause you to realign your thoughts, you have greater issues than what you think you do.
Yeah, I can't think of anything smart ass to say on that one, so I'll just leave it. I will say one thing about the people, like the guy you just talked about on the street, or the people in Colombia or in Africa. I don't think any of us know what toughness is for them to survive what they're going through.
Man,
I mean, those homeless people, the amputees, or the veterans. I mean, I've seen. Can you imagine what the homeless go through in Vegas during the summer just to survive? Or there's what is this, the coldest town in Russia or whatever? I forgot the name of it, but it's average like -72. They have homeless there. If you could survive that on a yearly basis, you are a tougher person than we will ever be.
oh yeah, no, I was driving somewhere, and I went under an overpass, and it was just a bunch of homeless people there. And I was thinking, I was just looking at them. I was sitting at a light, just looking at them. I was like, there's certain things that I go through that are extremely difficult. Like sometimes walking, it's just like extremely, extremely difficult. And sometimes it's so difficult where I just have to take a wheelchair if I'm going through an airport, because it's just like pain is just unbelievable. And I tap out. I get a wheelchair. There's times where I just don't feel good, and I know something's going on. I tap out and I go to the emergency room. These people, there's no tapping out.
No.
And I was like, they are tough.
Yeah.
They are tough, because day in, day out, through that heat, I've seen them. I know you've seen them eating out of garbage cans. Yeah. I mean, even like, I even think like, here I have these digestive problems. Their digestive system must be on point, because they can just eat garbage. And I don't know whether they have stomach problems or diarrhea or not, but think about that. Being homeless and having diarrhea, how does that work? There's no bathrooms to run to, and 9 times out of 10, they're not going to let you in their bathroom anyway, because of the way you look. So where do you go? And how does that work? And no showering. Day in, day out of stickiness, wearing the same clothes. I'm like,
in your heat. Well, I saw a survival specialist, a guy who does training on that kind of stuff. He said, let's say if the world just went to shit and everything went away, the 2 groups of people that you're going to want to be around, first off, active duty military that have been deployed in war zones.
Right.
And he said, but even more so, homeless populations. They know how to survive where you're going to have to live now. They know how to turn insulation of their clothes out of newspaper crumpled up inside.
Yeah.
And find food and clean water, that kind of thing. So
yeah. Speaking of clean water, I don't want to like do an advertisement for them, but it's just, they called it something straw. And
oh yeah.
And I forgot how much water it will filter, but you can drink any water and it purifies it to 99.9%.
Life straw?
Life straw. That's an amazing, I got to get a couple of those, because I do believe that water is going to become a problem. With these data centers and how much water they suck up, you got the Rio Grande that's drying up. The Rio Grande is dried up.
Well, what's the lake again?
Oh, Lake Mead.
Yeah, that one's getting lower again, right? Like lower than before.
Oh yeah. And there's always a debate here about Vegas having not having enough water.
Yeah.
And they reassessed and said it was never enough water, but the population continues to grow. So I think about stuff like that. I'm like, man, I got to get, and they always say, man, get a couple, get some for your family members and stuff. I got to do that. That's one thing I got to do, because I do think, you can go quite some time without food. Can't go that long without water, man. And just to think, to be able to to drink sewage water or still water and it come out where it's purified and drinkable.
That's a big thing.
That's a game changer. I got to go buy some of those today. I got to go online and buy a couple of those a day. Even though my kids don't think like that. My son Darius does because we talk about stuff like that. But my other kids are just oblivious and probably think the world is going to go on the way it is forever.
They're not that expensive either.
No, they're not. No,
it's like you can get a 5-pack for $50.
Yeah, that's crazy. And how much water would it filter? What does it say?
4,000 liters each. That's a lot of water.
And I forgot they gave a depiction on how much a human drinks in 1 year, and it wasn't even that amount.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So shout out to them. Shout out to Charles, the guy that was doing the videos.
Wesley.
Jim. Yeah.
Wesley will see you at the Olympia, hopefully.
Yeah. Shout out to Goes Jim. Shout out to Charles Glass. But anyway, it's another episode of Flex for Life. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Again, we read our comments, and if they're interesting and sometimes controversial enough, we will bring them up. I know the one video with the young lady is still going strong with people.
Yeah. Thanks for the engagement, by the way.
Yeah. I'm still commenting. Again, sweetheart, there's absolutely nothing about you. And I would kind of put it this way. The way you are talking, not the way, the subject you were talking about was how other people do things. That's all we were doing.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. So we're doing it no different. And I would argue we're being more respected, in our vocabulary or not. So I haven't seen them yet, so, it's going to be interesting when I do see them.
We never said she was wrong because she wasn't.
No, she was not. She was dead on point about that. And I get it. Some people you got to talk to that way. You got to be straight honest. I don't want no cookie cutter or hey, you kind of need to do this. I need to be hitting the mouth of no, you need to do this. That's the only way I snap to it and get to it. But yeah, anyway, there's another episode. My co-host, Greg. We'll see you next week. God bless you guys.